kids. It's time to get some SML Podcast all up in that.
I was like, what window? And I broke a part of my controller yesterday.
Oh, that's always good.
Yeah, WWE servers suck and it pissed me off really bad. I couldn't reverse shit and it was really pissing me off.
I'll have to ask you about that on the show.
My dad listens to the show. I can't fucking have him know that I broke the controller.
But he can hear you cursing, you and your foul mouth.
Oh, he don't give a shit. He's the one that taught me all the curse words I know. Except cunt. I learned that myself.
Oh man, what's up everyone? This is the SML Podcast. I am your host, Joe. No Chris today, but joining me once again, CJ Greenwood is back. CJ, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm sorry for everybody that has to listen to me instead of Chris.
I know. Yeah, it's life. He can't be here for everything.
Just bring down the show another notch. It's all right.
He can't be here all the time. And then Ian broke his phone. So like you're the third string right now.
Oh my god, I'm holding the show together.
You are the glue that's keeping this show stuck at the bottom.
Shit, if something happens, then we'll have to get Uneaten Lake up in here.
I actually invited him on, and he doesn't seem too interested in, like, doing a show. But who knows, maybe one day.
Maybe he's just nervous.
But fun news is we are not streaming on Twitch with this episode. I am streaming on Beam.
What's Beam?
It's like Twitch, but different.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
You should have listened to the last couple episodes.
I did. I blacked out.
Actually, Beam is kind of an upstart system, and they were bought by Microsoft, so there's a definite chance that they can make some ground here. But their big thing is, like, it's interactive. They have ways to be more interactive with streams, and the delay is like super, super small. Like,
oh, that sounds awesome.
It's like a 3-second delay.
Maybe I should make another account and follow you.
There you go. Do it. And even crazier, like, they have a beta mode that is a delay of under 1 second.
Jeez. I wonder how you probably get access to that with the pro membership, don't you?
No, you just have to use different software. Like, you can't use OBS that I'm using. You have to use actual, like, I don't know what the fuck the name is, but different software that you have to do it. No, it's like Tachyon or something.
Oh, it's like because XSplit is basically the same as OBS, just a little different and much easier to use and less confusing. And that's why it's better.
I wonder if I could find what the hell the program is. I'm having to do things. Set up stream. Use
Sorry.
It is set up instructions. Yeah, Tachyon. Download Tachyon.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I thought that sounded familiar, but then again, it sounded like the Tachyon project, so I thought maybe it was you.
Yes, you have to download that game. And I like we're opening a second window. It made my chat go away. Yay.
Damn it.
So anyway, coming up later in the show, I had a nice sit-down interview. Well, I would assume we were all sitting, but with the folks from Compulsion Games. Do you know how fucking excited I was about that episode?
I'm sure you were very excited. I'm excited to hear it.
Freaking Compulsion Games. Like that's.
I'm sure you brought up the fact that you didn't think it'd be a survival game, and then they told you that you're wrong.
Well, see, I didn't follow it as much as some people, but apparently from the very beginning, they made it clear that, hey, this is a survival game, that the people who just paid attention to, like, the E3 stream, they're the ones who kind of missed out on all the news. Like me.
That's the only thing I'd ever seen of it was E3, so I thought
yeah.
All right. Well, my friend got pissed off because he spent the money, and then he was like, shit.
But
and
yeah.
So did Shiz. So
it's awesome,
a lot of people
though.
spent money on games they didn't know that they were going to get. But hey, it still looks amazing.
Indeed. And it's a good game, and they're working hard on it, and just talking with Sam Abbott, Compulsion Games. Awesome chat. So stick around. That'll be at the end of the show, clearly. But for now, we have a couple of reviews to tackle.
We do.
And maybe a little bit of news. And any news you want to talk about?
I mean, Rumble mode in Rocket League came out yesterday. It's pretty cool.
How's that? I haven't played it yet.
It's fucking awesome, but also very irritating because with the power-ups, you can kind of just steal the ball from the other players right before they're about to score. So it can get pretty hectic. And it can be really annoying if you're right next to the goal and then they're like, fuck you. I'll take it.
Nice. Always fun.
It is. It's a good time.
Good time. So yeah, reviews, I guess, huh?
Yeah, reviews.
We will kick things off with Dogos. This one was developed and published by OPQAM or OPQAM. I don't know what they prefer. OPQAM Studios. Released September 7th for the Xbox One, PS4, and Steam for $11.99. Dogos invites you to explore 14 original open-world levels completely made in 3D, giving players the opportunity to meet goals from any angle they can imagine. Ooh.
Oh my god, I saw this game. It actually kind of reminded me of Halo Spartan Assault, just with a ship instead, honestly.
I wouldn't put it around like the Halo Spartan Assault games, because that's more of like a twin stick. This is more of a shmup. Like space shooter.
Shoot 'em up, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I get lazy and say shmup, because I can.
Well, I never heard of that before.
It's a really cool game. It has an interesting control scheme to it, where, again, like they say, the levels are all made in 3D, so there's a lot of open world traversal segments in it where it's just a big ass map, and it's like, you get from here to here, figure out how you want to go, which way you want to go. There are a handful of on rails, like tunnel racing segments, which with the control scheme, it can kind of throw you off. During normal traveling, up, down, left, and right with the left stick moves your ship up, down, left, and right, where using the right stick is kind of like a strafe, where you're, that's how you like tilt the ship left and right.
This sounds weird.
Like how you're turning it instead of just moving left. It's the closest I could think is like, imagine the first time you drove a Warthog in Halo.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
How like you would hit forward on one to go forward, and then you would go left and right with the other stick.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about now. That was pretty clear in the gameplay thing. I just didn't really realize that because I watched a little bit of gameplay and the way the camera actually turns with you, rather than just being like a flat camera that you just go across. Oh,
I died a few times at start, like not really realizing that's how it controlled at the beginning. But once you get a handle on how it controls, it actually, it works really well for the game.
I imagine it looked pretty cool. I mean,
yeah, I
like the spaceships. Awesome.
I appreciate the fact that it's not just like a pre-rendered background or a backdrop and you're just flying over top of it. It is a fully modeled world. They mention, playing it in any angle you can imagine, which isn't necessarily true. Like the camera angle does change here and there, but for the most part, it's going to be an overhead kind of view. Fly around, blow up ships, fly here, blow up tanks, stuff like that.
And,
bosses.
Yeah, I noticed that in the gameplay thing, there was even some, like, if you went a specific path, there'd be, like, optional bosses that you could kill for a little star.
Yeah, there were, on most stages, they're like special red elite enemies that you can kill. And yeah, again, each stage has 3 different stars, and each of the stars has its own unique goal dependent on the stage. Like some of them will be like beat the stage within 10 minutes or beat the stage while destroying 30 of these things or beat it without dying, which, most of those aren't too bad, but some stages like, fuck that. Especially some of those on rails kind of tunnel racing segments. Man, though you make one wrong turn and you crash into a wall and it's all over.
Do you got to restart from the beginning or do you get checkpoints?
Some of them have checkpoints, but it depends on how far in you get.
Oh, that's nice. At least you get a little bit of like, you get near the end and then you fuck up. You don't have to go the whole way at the beginning, hopefully.
Yeah. And then certain stages, like there was one stage where there were like these laser barriers that you had to get through, which first off, fuck that section of that stage. I couldn't stand that part. The bright side is because the difficulty I was playing on, it was infinite lives, because I'm a bitch and I play on the easiest difficulty the first time through a game, just to kind of like get my bearings on it. And wherever you died, you just respawned right there, which I was happy about. So I would die, respawn, go as far as I could while invincible until I explode, repeat. Thankfully, that stage did not have a ribbon to beat it without dying.
Oh, that's good. You didn't lose that ribbon, because I'm sure you'll get them all.
Working on it. A couple of them are tough. I do have a few minor gripes with the game. There's, the levels are split between like space enemy, like enemies that are flying around, and then ground enemies like tanks and shit shooting from the ground. You have two weapons. Right trigger is your normal gun, which hits flying enemies. Left trigger is your ground attack, where it starts off with like a missile that you drop, and then there's like a sniper gun that you shoot, or there's like a cluster bomb you can earn. Your standard weapon, which shoots space enemies, you just hold the trigger and it fires. The left trigger, you can't just hold it down to keep shooting. You have to you have to repeatedly press it. And when there's a ton of ground enemies that you got to deal with, it's irritating to like mash the left trigger over and over and over.
Oh, and I could imagine like if you have to deal with flying enemies and ground enemies, you can get a little confused if you're not great at like multitasking your fingers.
See, the plus side is you could just hold the right trigger and shoot constantly. So the flying enemies, you'll kill them eventually. The ground enemies, though, it's just, I wish they had it so that you could just hold the trigger and it would just auto fire.
Yeah, I remember even like the old Halo CE, like if you held down the trigger with the pistol, it'll still fire eventually.
Yeah. I think that was my biggest gripe, was that because there's some sections that just have so many ground enemies, and, there's a little reticule to show where you're aiming, but if you're moving forward, like, you'll drop that bomb where the reticule was, not where you are expecting it to be. So you basically have to stop moving to drop a bomb accurately. Or, if there's, because it's a 3D terrain, if there's a higher mountain, it might just hit the mountain instead of the enemy. And you're just mashing the trigger, hoping and praying that you're going to kill these guys because they're just shooting at you constantly.
Oh, that sounds difficult.
It's more of an annoyance, where if they had auto fire for the ground attacks, it wouldn't be as bad. Or if they didn't have as many ground enemies. But for how many ground enemies there are and how imprecise your ground attacks can be, it's just, my hand was hurting from playing it.
Oh, that sucks.
I mean, even still, overall, the game is fantastic. It's a lot of fun. It's a beautiful looking game. It's only $12, 14 stages, lots to do, lots of difficulties, extra goals to accomplish in the stages. I think it's a highly recommended try it, but some of those issues will bother people, and hopefully they patch that up.
Yeah, hopefully they do, and oh my god, to go with the thing you said about the game looks beautiful. Wow, it does. It's like, this game's, I like the colors too. In certain stages, they were like crazy greens and blues.
It's a pretty game.
It is. It looks great.
All right, so next game to talk about is called Seasons After Fall. This one is developed by Swing Submarine, published by Focus Home Interactive, released September 2nd for $14.99. Seasons After Fall is a 2D puzzle adventure game that will let you dive into a captivating universe and explore a land governed by magic and nature. CJ, this one is all yours. What'd you think about it?
Well, it is a 2D puzzle platformer, and the art style is amazing. Everything just looks really good, and it looks like Bob Ross had painted it. That's how good it looks. The seasons are all different and unique, which is awesome, because in the game, you kind of control the seasons to complete puzzles, and the way to control the seasons is to just hold down like the right trigger or flick the right stick or press down any button that isn't jump or or bark, basically, because I noticed like 4 or 5 different buttons that would all do the season
there's a
changing.
bark button?
There is a bark button. You actually have to use it.
That's fantastic.
In order to activate certain things, you have to bark to get it to go. But you also have to be in the right season. So you'd have to change seasons while doing these puzzles to get the item you want to do something, to do the specific thing. Like there was this weird, almost hollow plant that would connect to a little bouncing platform. And if you jumped on that platform, in a certain season, it would release something. Like in spring, it would release a thing of water so that you could grow a tree. Or in winter, it would release a giant snowball that you could jump onto and then get to a higher platform. It was pretty cool. I like the whole changing seasons to do specific things. It's a pretty unique experience that I've never seen in another game. So, I like that.
Nice.
The areas are all unique, which I like. There isn't a whole lot of different areas because the game does have a lot of backtracking. Because you, in the game, you start as a seed, and you have to help this young seed, or this other seed, perform a ritual of the seasons. But to do this, you have to get the 4 different orbs from the guardians of each season. And so you'll have to follow that orb back once you go to the guardian and he gives it to you. You have to follow it back to the sanctuary, so you'll be backtracking back over there to do it. And then a little further in the story, you then have to go back to those guardians and then go back again to complete different puzzles, though, because it changes a little bit. So it's actually pretty cool and unique. Each time you go through, it's a little different, and I like that. The game was longer than I thought it would be. I thought it would be like a 2 to 3 hour game, but I went 5.5 hours in and I was only like 2/3 done.
Oh, wow.
So it actually offers quite a bit of gameplay. I mean, I'd say like 7 to 8 hours at least that you'd be playing it. And then if you want to get all the collectibles, because there's these little flower patches in each area. There's like 4 in each. And you got to find them and then bloom them. And to bloom them, you just walk over them because you're some kind of like watering fox, apparently. But it's pretty cool. The fox is it was actually taken over by the seed that you play as, so you actually possess a fox. You're not actually a fox. And so every time you bring an orb back to the sanctuary, you have to leave the fox to gain the season's abilities. And so then you'll have to go and grab the fox again because it'll run off. And
nice.
That's pretty cool. I like the whole having the chase after your being of sorts. The game's controls are very smooth. The jumping feels good, and there is a difference between holding and tapping the jump, which is something that I've complained about before in other games. I really like being able to actually have control over where you jump, and this game, it has a lot of that. The changing seasons is very fluid, like I said, and I would normally use RT for it and then use the left stick, but a quick swap ability is to use the right stick and just flick it in the direction that you want to go, because each season is in a different direction to make it easy. So that's pretty cool. The characters in the game are very unique and interesting. It revolves around you and the Guardian of Fall and the Young Seed. Although there are other Guardians in the game, you just don't really interact with them as much. And then there are little hidden platforms that you can find the rest on, and it'll give you a vision of like the past when the Guardian of Fall was talking to the Young Seed and teaching her lessons, because she's supposed to grow up and do the ritual of the seasons, but she's young and naive and scared. So she's worried about doing things that he wants her to do. So he helps her out and teaches her what she's supposed to do. The music is amazing. I love hearing it. It was relaxing most of the time, but it can become upbeat and happy, especially after collecting a season orb. Then you got this like awesome music that plays as you're making back with it. My only complaint with the music is that you can't change like the volume separately from the voice, and it can be a little hard to hear the voices sometimes because the music overpowers it a bit. I wish that there was like a slider for both, because I'd like to be able to just turn the music down a notch so that I can hear the voices a little better.
Yeah.
Another bonus is that this game isn't terribly difficult. It's very child friendly, and I think that the game was kind of directed towards kids in a way. It has zero violence, like no death. It's all perfect for a child to play, as long as like 7 or 8, so you can actually understand what a puzzle is.
Nice.
Because some of the puzzles can get really weird later on. It's like, what the hell am I supposed to do here? But for the most of the game, it's actually really simple and fun. Overall, if you enjoy relaxing, kind-hearted games, I'd buy it. There wasn't very much that bothered me or was problematic with the game. It was just fun.
Sounds good.
It's very good.
So, and if you're listening to this during the weekend, it looks like Focus Home Interactive is having a giant sale on Steam where you could get like a shit ton of their games for $37.
I saw that.
Like Blood Bowl 2, Seasons After Fall, Styx, Bound by Flame, Cities XXL, Farming Simulator 2013, Game of Thrones, Vorks and Men, Contrast, Fairy, Final Exam. Damn.
I want to play Final Exam with somebody. I own it and I haven't played it.
What systems do you have it on?
PC. It's cheap on PC.
Well, if you only had it on Xbox.
It's not backwards compatible. I'm not going to throw my 360 on. That thing's old and it makes really bad noise. Like really, really bad noise.
I actually have it on PS3 and 360. So you have 2 options to play it with me.
Well, I don't have a PS3, so I have virtually 1 option. If it becomes backwards compatible, I'll buy it. And then we'll play it. Have some fun with that game.
Yeah, looks like Seasons After Fall looks to be a good one to pick up. And if you have the money and you're in time to do it, that Focus pack looks pretty crazy for only $38.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
All right, time to do like kind of an N64 block here, where we're first going to talk about the game FreezeME, which is developed and published by Rainy Night Creations, released September 2nd for $9.99. FreezeME is a 3D platformer in the style of 90s era, but wait, there's a twist. The main character, R, has one special tool, a camera around her neck. The camera allows her to literally freeze the objects she photographs. When they say this is a 3D platformer in the styles of the 90 era, it really is. Like the first thing I felt when I played this game was, wow, this is the new version of Mario 64.
Oh, I was thinking Banjo-Kazooie. That looked like, as soon as I saw that game, that's all I thought was like, holy shit, this is almost just like it. Except, the freezing camera thing. You didn't have that in Banjo. It feels,
well, I never really got into the Banjo games because those were more like open adventure area, where Mario 64 was all level based, where you're presented this giant open level and there's a handful of different things that you need to accomplish to earn, in that game, stars, in this game, golden cubes. And it's pretty much the same way, where each of the different worlds in FreezeME is a giant open world with a handful of different objectives that you can accomplish. Like in the first level in the game, the tutorial has you run up, chase someone, and then there's a golden cube atop a block, and there's an enemy jumping up and down in front of it. And that's where it teaches you that, hey, take a picture of the enemy to freeze him in midair and jump onto him and up to get the cube.
That pig was funny. They kept running away.
Like asshole pig.
Get back here.
But then there's also, collect 150 of the red coins, which even look like toads. They're pig coins, but they're, to me, they look like mushrooms. They look like toad.
I wish I had played Mario 64 so I knew what you were talking about.
Man, how have you not played Mario 64?
I'm 18. N64 wasn't a thing, or wasn't really a thing anymore when I was growing up.
You young son of a bitch, you.
I had an NES, but I didn't really use it.
You young son of a bitch, you.
I played about 5 minutes of the original Mario.
Get off my lawn. If Chris was here, he would know. He's a real kid. But anyway, the game is level-based, like Mario World, where you have a hub level with a handful of different areas that you can go into, which launch their own world, where you have, I believe, 8 or 10 different, I believe it's 8, objectives that you could complete to get a golden cube. So each level has 8 golden cubes that you could get. There's the standard, like the green hills and green grass level. There's like the ice level. It's very, I guess, cliche in that if you expect it to be in the game, it's probably in the game. I mean, it's
that's
cute.
not a bad thing.
No, not at all. It's not like they're trying to make $60 off of this thing. It's a $10 game. So it's more of like a comfort kind of cliche where it's like, oh, okay, I know what to do here. Or, I kind of expect this. There are a couple of downfalls to the game. First off is the camera. Like,
well, what do you expect?
Early 90s camera was a bitch in open world 3D games. And this has a lot of times where like I just could not turn and get the camera right. It seemed to fight against me more than I would have liked to. Eventually after so long, you could kind of get it worked out to how you need it to, but it was more finicky than I wanted it to be. And
sounds like it's accurate of the time period.
It's very 90s. The camera is very 90s.
I couldn't even play Conker's Bad Fur Day because of that. The camera was awful.
There's also a handful of like early 3D glitchiness to it. Like, it's hard to explain because you don't know Mario 64, but like if land is
any other 3D games.
Listen, kid. Like if the slope of land was just kind of in between something you would slide down or something you could run up, you would kind of like get halfway up and then half slide, half stutter. There were just annoyances with the game that I guess are a byproduct of that era of gaming. So
I'd say you probably best getting into this game if you had played those before.
Yeah, if you were a kid of the 90s and you enjoyed those old school 90s 3D platformers, for $10 you're going to have a lot of fun with this because it is a solid game. There's plenty to do in the game. Achievement whores are going to love it. Like,
am I?
I'm I think over 800 achievement points in the game already.
Sounds sexy.
The biggest too is you do need to beat the game clearly to get all the achievement points.
I'd hope so. Because
one of them requires an ability that you don't get until you beat the final boss. And then there's I hate these achievements of 175 points to get all other achievements.
Oh, that's just like that feels like cheap. It's like they didn't change it from the PlayStation list, so they just decided to add a gamer score.
I know. I hate that. Like
but I mean, look, it's not a reason to say screw you.
No, it's just my own personal annoyance with those achievements. An achievement for getting all achievements. Like that's
at least it's not an odd gamer score value, right?
Oh, I don't care about that. I like odd gamer scores.
I fucking hate it.
I love them because you stand out.
Yeah, but it's annoying. I want a normal gamer score. I had one for so long.
At least there's no decimal points.
Oh my god.
That would be an odd gamer score. And think about it. If you didn't have weird gamer score numbers, you can never have something like 77777.
But I'm not worried about having 77777.
It's like me. I'm awaiting when I can have 333333.
Why not 666666?
Because that's years away.
I mean, just get to work. You can do it. You got it. You'll be there in no time.
Overall, the game gets a try. It is a lot of fun. People who aren't familiar with that era of gaming are going to be turned off, and there's nothing that they could do to change your mind for the most part. Like, this is definitely a game of that era. Like, you need to have the right mindset of like, it's a 90s game. It is very much a 90s game with a 2016 coat of paint. So
basically you're saying you have to play Mario 64 and no other 90s 3D games. Because you don't know any others.
Well, you could play others. It's just Mario 64 is the easiest thing to compare to. Just like with this next one, Oceanhorn, Monster of the Uncharted Seas, developed by Cornfox and Bros, published by FDG Entertainment. Released September 7th for $14.99. Oceanhorn, Monster of Uncharted Seas combines captivating storytelling, breathtaking 3D visuals, and exciting gameplay into one epic action-adventure experience. In the game, you explore the islands of Uncharted Seas, a world filled with many dangers, puzzles, and secrets. Like FreezeME, we compared to Mario 64. Stories of Bethlehem, we compared to, like, the top-down, old-school Legend of Zelda games. Oceanhorn, Monster of Uncharted Seas is fucking Wind Waker.
I'll have an admission again. I've never played a Zelda game.
You've never played any Zelda game?
Nope, never.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry. This game looked cool, though. I would.
Do you not own, like, any Nintendo platforms?
I own a DS Lite.
You could get Zelda games on that.
Yeah, but I don't like the DS, really. I haven't used it in a year.
You bitch.
The only game I ever played on it was Tomb Raider Underworld, and I liked it a lot.
All right, your mission is to find a cheap Wii, find someone who knows how to mod it so you could get emulators on it, and play some old goddamn Zelda games, you piece of shit.
Yeah, maybe. I still need Rise of Iron first.
No, you don't.
I do.
No one needs Rise of Iron. Fuck Bungie. But, yeah, Oceanhorn is straight up, this is like a non-Nintendo Zelda game for the most part. There are some clear differences between this game and normal Zelda games. This one is, most modern Zelda games have a third-person camera where it's always behind you as you go. This has a second-person camera, kind of like the older Resident Evil games, where it's a fixed location, kind of up in a corner. So it's an isometric view of the world. The world is also kind of built, I hate making the comparison, but Minecraft style, where everything is very cubic based. It's not super pixely like Minecraft, but it just feels like it was built block style.
I mean, isn't there some circles? Oh yeah, there is rounded edges at least in that game.
but for the most part, like, the world just feels very cube based.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Seeing the game, it was very cubey.
Yeah, the game itself is a straight-up Zelda-style adventure game where you're a boy on an island who, you have to save the world from the evils of blah, blah, the demon under the sea, Oceanhorn, the gigantic monster that's going to conquer everything.
Oh, that's why it's called that.
Yeah. Oceanhorn is the monster.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Rosebud's the sled, too, so...
I don't know what that means, but that sounds fun.
I know you don't, because you're young. You goddamn child, you.
I'm really disappointing you this episode.
All you are is disappointment to me. That's all you are, you.
Zelda or like a DMCA by Nintendo.
You son of a bitch, you. But yeah, it's... In traditional Zelda style, you go from island to island, checking out dungeons, visiting villages, finding new weapons and abilities as you go through the game. I compare it to Wind Waker because, of course, it is ocean-based. You are traveling by a boat from island to island. Unlike the Wind Waker, you are not actually sailing from island to island. It's more on rails. And to make it more enjoyable, you have a gun that you can shoot while you're sailing in between islands. And you'll see like boxes and chests and enemies pop up in the water. And it gives you something to do while you're sailing from island to island.
I actually had a question about the sailing. So if you've gone to an island before, I'm assuming you actually have to sail there still. You can't like fast travel.
Yes, it is sailing each time. Yeah.
Fuck, that sounds like... Okay, I guess that's okay, but damn it. I like fast travel.
It's really not that bad. Plus, it's an easy way to get money and, regenerate health as you're sailing. Because, the barrels that you blow up and things, they'll have money in it or they'll have hearts in it to refill your life. It's quick enough that it's not really a massive pain.
Well, that's good. As long as you're not sailing for like 10 minutes straight.
No, it's like 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, then whatever. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
just
really
a 30-second loading screen, basically.
pretty much, and it's disguised as sailing, so it's really not that bad. It's enjoyable. It keeps things from getting stale, and at least you're not sailing yourself. So I do like that the sailing is done much better in here than many believe was in the Wind Waker. It does cut down on how much exploration you can do, because you can't just be like, oh, hey, there's a random island over there. So, everything that you can explore, you'll eventually have pop up on the world map, and you select it and you go there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there any terrible underwater levels like there was in Zelda?
Not that I've seen. Like, there's been nothing that, there are levels that have water in it, but it's not that you're swimming underwater like the Water Temple.
Oh, that's good.
At least that I've done. From what I can tell, I'm on one of the final castles in the game, and I haven't had anything like that. But, you will have the ice area, you will have the fire area, you have the desert area. So, again, a lot of the cliche levels, but for the most part, it's what you can expect. The game overall, a lot of fun, though. I've actually enjoyed this more than I have, most recent Zelda games.
I haven't played them. It's
just quick and to the point. It doesn't draw things out with an hour-long tutorial and unskippable shit. It's a fun, enjoyable action-adventure, old-school Zelda game.
Maybe I should just get this instead of Zelda, and then I don't gotta spend money on a console.
Plus, it's cheaper. It's only $15 as opposed to, $60 for a new Zelda game. So if you were into the top-down Zelda games, Stories of Betham was your jam. If you were more into the 3D Zelda games, Oceanhorn should be your jam. And for $15, yeah, buy it. Good stuff.
And so far, the most frustrating part is watching somebody not know where a log or water is.
True. Very true.
God, I was just like, bro, you wasted 3 minutes just at least 3 to 4 minutes just looking around saying, I don't see water.
What fucking water are you talking? There is no water. Look at the desert. Look at all this water in the desert. Shiz, you dipshit.
Oh, this water. I didn't see this water. I'm sorry, guys.
Fucking shiz, you dipshit.
Saying you're just testing us. Yeah.
So yeah, Oceanhorn, give it a buy it. Good stuff. And another great game for old school style gamers.
That sounds amazing.
All right, next up is called Windscape. This one is developed by Magic Sandbox, published by our friends at Headup Games, released August 31st on Steam Early Access for $16.99. In Windscape, you play as a young girl living on your parents' farm, set in a lovely world made up of floating islands in the sky. As you discover the world, you learn that something has gone terribly wrong. Islands are breaking apart and falling from the sky. CJ, this one, once again, is all yours.
Alright, well, I gotta make it very clear first. This is a preview because the game does not have a whole lot in it right now. In fact, I only got like an hour of gameplay of actual stories before it was like, this area is not available yet, it'll come in future updates. So I couldn't actually play past an hour.
Hey,
I could play past an hour.
The perks of early access, so...
Yeah, so I could just say this is a preview, and also I wrote bullet points for this one because I wanted to try something new. So
hold up. Before that, I'm going to go down the early access stuff. It says approximately how long will this game be in early access? They say with the first island and the basic storyline laid out in the early access version upon launch, I am assuming it will take roughly half a year to create all islands and write the story forth to the end. As this game is pretty much a one-man production, I do enjoy the luxury of saying when it's done, no outside pressure upon me, and the main goal is to create the best possible game in the end. I hope you will accompany me on this journey. So again, you basically only have access to the first island in the beginning of the story.
Holy shit, this was only one dude. This is even more impressive. Because I'll say it right now, I really like this game. I just wanted more. And it is very early. Like, this is like week 2, maybe, of the game being released.
Yeah, so. It launched early access on the 1st, so.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can't expect updates crazy already. He's already released an update, but it was like small patches and fixes for stuff. The game is a first-person action-adventure game, very similar to, like, a cartoon Skyrim.
Nice.
So, if you liked Skyrim, this is for you. It has a fun cartoonish graphic style. All the enemies are adorable. I don't want to kill them, except the stupid bandits. They're hideous. But all the bees are cute, the wolves are cute, everything's cute. I don't want to kill them, but they're so mean. Although people's faces look weird. Like, that's the only thing that I thought was like, oh, why does that look like that? The faces on the actual human people are really odd. But what can you say? Everything else looks great, so who cares? I would say that it was really fun, but I had a couple of problems with the gameplay. One being that the shield is a little weird to use. Like, it'll block some things, but it won't block others. And I think that's due to elemental effects. Like, some of the enemies would throw flames at you, and you couldn't block that. Like, with the shield, it would just do nothing. It would do full damage, not even half. But then other attacks, like if they would swipe at you, you could block it and it would take all the damage. You wouldn't have to worry about anything. And then you could just smack them. There's a crafting system in the game. So you had to craft better weapons, which means gathering supplies. And that's the only other thing I really wasn't a fan of, was gathering supplies. You'd press X to gather supplies. And so if you were cutting down a tree, it could take 5-10 seconds. But unlike other games where you're kind of actually actively doing something, you just press X and then watch your character do it for 5-10 seconds each tree. Yeah, that can get a little boring. It's it's not interactive at all in that sense. Instead, you're kind of just watching a character work on something while a timer's on the screen. I also had a funny little glitch when I killed an enemy. I walked onto its body by mistake, and he launched me 60 feet in the air. Luckily, there's no fall damage in this game. So I was like, oh my god, I had a heart attack when I got thrown up there. I was like, no, I'm gonna die. How much progress am I gonna lose? But I landed and I took 0 damage. So there's no fall damage in this game. That's awesome. There are save points everywhere though, so you're not gonna lose much. But that is the only way you can save. You actually have to walk past the save point. There's these little totems that are on the ground. And you well, I shouldn't say little, they're very huge and very obvious totems that will save your game, and you have to walk past those. You can't actually just pause and save the game yourself. But whatever. The totems are very common anyway, so if you die, you're not going to lose very much progress. That I think. I haven't died because this game isn't that hard, which is fun. It starts out a little weird though. I wasn't sure what was going on I thought I'd be fighting right away, and instead I was making soup. But, yeah, your mom wants me to help you. What kind of
soup?
Beef stew, actually. It wasn't really soup, I guess. Beef stew is similar to soup, though. I mean, it has soupy things in it, so whatever.
Soupy things.
Forgive me,
oh my god.
Yeah, but she has you go back and collect the materials, because you live on a farm, and then you have to make a soup, which is actually just a hidden tutorial to teach you how to make food so that you can heal. Because you heal at totems that save your game. You also get full health back, which is very nice. That means I rarely have to eat. But if you are in a dungeon, you will have to eat and to gain health. But it'll start it as a regen process instead of just gaining the health immediately. So you can't just eat mid-combat and be like, all right, I'm good. You have to actually wait until after combat, eat, and then wait a little bit before getting back into combat, or you're gonna die. Although, like I said, it's not that difficult. It's more fun than it is difficult. The game has amazing music. I don't know what it was about the game. It reminded me of other games that I played as a child that I won't say because they're embarrassing. But
oh, come on, now you gotta tell.
Wizard 101. Anyway, fucking put so many hours into that. Anyway, the music reminded me of that for some reason, and it was and that just got me into this game. I loved the music. Everything about the music.
Shout out to No Pulse, who just joined the chat, by the way.
Oh, hello. I'm not looking at the chat. So, the game is, like I said, very short currently, because it's in early access. It was only about an hour. There wasn't a lot of bugs in the game, surprisingly, for early access. I got thrown in the air, sure, And I don't think the blocking is a glitch. I think that that's just because it's an element, you can't block that. Currently. You might be able to build a better shield later. So I didn't really notice a lot of glitches. It was pretty cool. The quest system was really cool. Quests don't update when you make progress though. So currently, if you collect an item that's an NPC tells you to go collect, it won't tell you then go back to this NPC. You just have to know that you have the item and then go back. Because it'll still tell you that you have to collect that item. Which is, it's okay, but you gotta pay attention and make sure that you know that you collected that item or check your inventory. It's pretty easy to see it, but if you don't pay attention, you could miss that you collected that item and then be like, where's this item I was supposed to collect? Like, I've checked this whole place and I can't find it, and it's not telling me to go back, so I didn't know that the quest was over, but it is. So yeah, I didn't like that, but if you're paying attention, you should be fine. The bees in the game are a bit of an asshole. Like, they're cute, but they shoot projectiles at you from their stinger, and that's terrifying. I hate bees.
I mean, bees are assholes in general, so.
They are, and they're the scariest shit, like, #1 fear. So I don't like that. But hey, they're in the game, and they're enemies. It's not like they're supposed to be nice and friendly, but that's terrifying. And they're very hard. You can block them, but they're very hard to block because they shoot so quickly that by the time you've done being staggered from blocking, or I wouldn't really say staggered, but it takes time to put your shield down so you can swing. You've already gotten hit again, normally.
Oh God.
So you don't take that much damage.
Fucking bees.
Oh God, the bees.
Not the bees.
They're terrifying though. The bandit camps in the game are pretty cool. Scattered around there are bandit camps that are just like little outposts that they live at that have nothing to do with the story whatsoever. They're just there, and you kill the bandits, and you can open up chests that are at the bandit camps and collect items like iron bars and other things like that, which you need to craft your swords and weapons. There is no durability on weapons though, so I mean that's very nice. I don't have to worry about it breaking.
Good. I hate that shit in games.
Oh fuck! Dead Island was the worst about that too.
I made this awesome weapon. I'm gonna use it 4 times and it's gonna break.
Yeah, that's so infuriating. This game does not have that, so if you don't like that, hey, buy this game right away. The price tag is $17.99, which is hopefully fine for when the game releases. Because from what I can tell, this game will have plenty of content to justify that. But at the current stance, it may not be worth it if you're only getting an hour in. That's really up to if you're wanting to support the devs.
I have $16.99, so I think you're a buck off.
$17.99, $16.99. It's $1. Whatever. But yes, you are correct. It's $16.99.
You dumb bitch.
Should have played Zelda. I would have knew that. Anyway. The dungeons in this game are amazing. Like, they're so well designed. If you see the screenshot, the one in the cave, it is incredible to be in there. It's like a little puzzle thing. You have to go through these 3 areas very early on in the game, obviously. You go through these 3 areas, and you have to flip a switch in each area to unlock the door that has the 3 red lights on it. And when you hit each switch, the green lights come on. And once you go in there, you'll meet a boss, which was incredibly easy to take out because he got glitched for me. However, they fixed the glitch in the latest patch. So you
cheated, you filthy cheater.
Hey, I didn't cheat. The game cheated.
Cheaty McCheaterton.
No, but he was difficult, and then he got stuck, and I was able to kill him. So I got lucky. The bosses from what I can tell, are going to be very difficult compared to the rest of the enemies. I think each boss will have a different kind of thing, because he was very different from the enemies already. Like, he'll do this attack that he sends like a shockwave forward by hitting the ground, and then he'll run around dropping dynamite behind him, so you can't follow him or you'll get blown up, and this dynamite does a lot of damage, like at least 25 points each hit, which you only have 100 health, you're going to get hit by 4 of those and you're dead. And he has plenty of health, so you don't want to get hit at all. Once you kill him, he drops a chest, though, that actually gives you a permanent health boost. So you go up to 125, which is pretty awesome. I'm very happy with the game, and I'd say Currently, while it's not a full review, I would say try it anyway. I think it's worth what they want for it in the end. Hopefully it'll be a great game to actually play all the time. I can see
basically, if nothing else, something to keep your eye on, because it's a great start and hopefully it continues.
Yes, there you go. That's what I was looking for. Hopefully they do change the, like, chopping down trees, though. I would like it if maybe I could just pull out the axe and attack it instead of pressing X and letting my character do it. I'd actually cut down the tree myself. That'd be cooler. But, what can you do?
Yeah, that's what early access is for. Leave some feedback and be like, hey, guy, listen.
Yeah, so,
do this.
Watch the game.
Listen, Magic Sandbox, whoever you are. Let me cut down my own trees.
My damn trees need cutting. I don't want to wait 10 seconds for it to happen.
All right, final game to talk about this episode is called Alone with You, developed and published by Benjamin Rivers, released August 23rd on the PS4 and the Vita for $9.99. You're the last survivor of a doomed space colony trying to escape a planet before it implodes around you. Equipped with a scanner, you'll reveal clues, solve puzzles, and discover the fates of over 24 colonists and the secrets of their interwoven lives. I can't talk. By day, you'll explore this richly detailed world with the help of the colony's troubled AI, and each night you'll spend quality time with several holographic companions, forging lasting relationships while gaining further insight into the colony's tragic downfall. This game, I actually first heard of this game during the N+ interview where Mayor Shepard was, I usually ask people, what are you playing? And she mentioned that she was playing Alone with You from Ben Rivers. And I got interested in the game and I checked it out and I got in touch with Benjamin and he was gracious enough to let me check out the game for the show. And I am absolutely loving it so far. The game plays, a lot like a point and click adventure game style. I mean, you manually control the person that you are, but there's just a lot of exploration, a lot of walking around, exploring things, interacting with things, finding hidden items, solving small puzzles, nothing huge. But then a lot of it comes down to just a lot of talking, a lot of communication. There's a lot of reading in this game. So it's a mix of like an adventure and a novel.
Yeah, the gameplay I watched, I don't think really did it justice. Cause, it feels like it's a lot of a game that you just kind of want to listen to this or read the story.
Yeah, this is absolutely a very, very heavily story-driven game. Don't let screenshots turn you off either. It has a very unique pixely style, which, like, just still screenshots, you'll look at it and be like, wow, this game, like, what's the big draw of this game? But once you play it, it works with the world that it is. It's, like, very pastel colored, very, very unique visually.
I like purple.
It has a very old feel to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it did look like that.
But yeah, the storyline is you are on the spaceship. You need to figure out a way to get off the ship, and the AI is going to help you learn how to properly create or repair the ship so you can leave. But you have to learn from the AI the holographic representations of the people who used to live there, who have died before you. And that's where at night you have these conversations with these people who are just still alive, not even alive. They're there by hologram. And some of them realize that they're holograms and that they're dead. And they're like, if I'm gone, like, how am I here? And it's a very, very human thing to see. Like, if you were to die and someone were to bring you back, would you have the memory that you're dead?
That is a little bit confusing. Like, I can just imagine just like, is that person, are you really that person? Or is that just like a computer that's, it would be confusing. I'm already confused just thinking about like, how would you go about that?
It's a hard game to review because so much of it comes down to the story, and I clearly don't want to talk about the story because it's something you need to experience on your own. For $10, Yeah, the actual gameplay that's there is fairly simple, fairly straightforward of just, exploring things and interacting with things. This is 100% about the story in the game. And I think that if you have a PS4 or a Vita and you are in the mood for something that you could just sit down and really emotionally get invested with, this is something that you need to buy and play.
I think this game would be perfect for Vita owners.
Yeah.
I'm glad it released on Vita.
I will put this out there. This is not a traditional game. Like that's what makes some of these tough to review, because game wise, it's not super deep gameplay wise. It's just very standard exploring, walking from area to area. But it's 100% about the story and the emotional connection to just these, not even to these game characters, to the holographic representation of these past game characters.
It's a really good way to put it.
It was a surprisingly emotionally involving game, and I think that if you have the time, like, instead of looking for a book to pick up, grab this.
That's a good suggestion.
And personally, if I had to recommend one over the other, it is cross-buy, so if you get it on one system, get it on both. If you have a Vita, for sure, pick this up, play it in bed before you go to sleep. Instead of, you would like read a chapter or two and then go to bed. Play a day or two in this game before you go to bed. Just treat this as your nighttime book, your nighttime novel.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Just like, this game is perfect for Vita.
It really is. It really is.
That's something that's prime for that kind of game.
Like, I was originally going to play it on my PS4 because, I'm more of a console guy. I would try to play stuff on console when possible, but I was doing an update and I'm like, you know what, let me just grab it on the Vita and I'll play it tonight while I lay in bed, and I haven't put it down on the Vita.
I think on console people would get too bored of it quickly, whereas on Vita it's like, I think just because you're closer and you're holding it, that it has a little bit more of like closeness, of feeling to it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe that feeling, but it's like, this game would also be perfect if they could get Nintendo and actually get it on 3DS.
That'd be cool.
It'd be cool.
Comes down to Ben Rivers, so Ben, if you're listening, 3DS, that shit.
Yeah, good luck getting Nintendo to actually be cool, though. Especially
because you could hold the 3DS like a book.
Yeah, it's exactly like a book.
Like they've
Vita's a little different, but
yeah. But anyway, those are this week's games. I think it's time to give away some games, though.
Oh shit!
This is the first time you're doing a giveaway with me. Are you excited?
Yeah, I am. That's why I didn't enter 140. I didn't want to read my own giveaway. We have 3 giveaways to take care of right now. We have Stories of Betham, we have 140, and we have iZombie. We will kick things off with iZombie. We have 3 codes this to give away, and so far, I do have a third email. Yes, I do. I have 3 emails for this game and 3 codes, so everybody is automatically getting a copy of this that has entered. So my entry's shit. we will start off with some guy named CJ Greenwood. Technically, you entered, so you earn a code. Your email says, iZombie. It's like the show, right? Okay, thanks, fam. Yep. I had to get one in real quick. You asshole. I am an asshole. Who's the thing that I win with that shitty entry, and some people, they get way better and they don't. Technically, yes. You just won iZombie with that shitty entry. So congratulations, CJ Greenwood. Yay! Your shitty entry won a code. Next email is from Brandon Wicks, aka Bodayet, who says, to be completely honest, the only reason I do want iZombie is to get the achievements. Thank you, Bodayet. Well, guess what, Bodayet? Your shitty entry also got you a code for the game. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Just like, that sounds a lot like my entry. Shitty. Yeah.
Final email is from Daniel N, who says, I would love the chance to play iZombie. I like the idea of going around affecting everyone on the map. Bite, gnaw, and zombie slash zombie moan. So Daniel N, for your actual legitimate entry, you also win a copy of the game.
Dude, he should just win all 3 copies.
Just give them all 3. Here, no, I'll give Boda one.
Give me one.
Well, technically, you're all getting one. You're the one saying to give them all 3. Fuck, I'll give him yours.
Shit, man, I don't want him to have all 3.
I do like No Pulse saying that when someone wins a code, I should announce their name, but tell them to email again to get the code.
That's a good idea.
Just to see if they really listen to the show.
I mean, that's a good idea, but chances are, most of the people that enter are already people you've heard from before anyway, so you're pretty good to know that they do.
Chances are, if I did that, I would never give a code away, so.
Oh, I'd win everything!
Oh man, next giveaway we are going to do for the game 140. This is the one from Jeppe Carlson and Double Fine. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 entries here. 7. And only 1 code to give away.
I should have did that earlier.
So this is going to be a tough one. First emails from In-Game Instincts, who says, I am interested in the game for 140 reasons that I still do not understand, but I don't care as long as the game helps me get more gamer score. 140 gamer score more are a good time any place, anywhere, especially on my account. By the way, I heard the music in the game is good, so another valid point to give it a try. Next
I'm disappointed.
Why?
Didn't have 140 reasons.
They're all gamer score, I guess.
Every single one? Fucking lame.
I don't know. Next one, Jake Benlier. Hey, SML Podcast. Here to enter the 140 giveaway. I heard about 140 from a YouTuber known as Snowman Gaming back in 2014. He makes videos based on good game design and once covered the indie game known as Shovel Knight, praising it to be a game which employs a teaching without teaching principle, essentially, the game's mechanics are taught to you through gameplay rather than through tutorials or an instruction manual. So what does this have to do with 140? During the video, the creator uses 140 as a perfect example of good game design and recommended it as a game to try out. Unfortunately, I rarely play games on PC, and I instead opt for console gaming. As a result, I passed on the game and couldn't experience it. That's not the only reason, though. I actually have an attachment to simplistic platformers such as 140. I used to spend hours playing an indie game on the 360 known as The Impossible Game, in which you would play as a red square and you would simply jump over spikes to the beat of some kick-ass music. It's a game I would recommend to you guys if you haven't played it. I have. I love it.
That's a fucking awesome game. Although you're wrong, it's an orange square. It's not red. But, I mean,
throwing down the gauntlet. 140 appears to be an upgraded version of the Impossible Game, yet both games hold the same principles. Both are simplistic in design, don't hold your hand, and allow you to progress through the levels by bobbing and weaving along the levels with the rhythm of the music. This is why I would like to experience 140 now that it's come to the Xbox One. Thanks and good luck to the other entries. That is a solid entry. Jake's always seems to have good ones.
I'm writing down second entry, Impossible Game, so that I know exactly which one. And it was Jake?
Yeah, that was Jake's. And No Pulse, you were correct. There's a lot of people who just see the tweets and enter, but I don't know. I think as long as people are getting involved in the show in some way, I mean, if we can make fun of them for their entries on the show, that's good enough for me.
That's a good point.
Because not everyone has 3 hours to set aside for our dumb show.
Yeah, but you can listen to it while playing a game. I mean, that's what I do.
True.
Oh.
All right, next email's from Nikki Baby, our SML 200 contest winner.
Is that just her name on the giveaway thing or the email?
Yeah, Nikki Baby.
The SML contest winner.
No,
every time.
I just appreciate the fact that not only did she first find out about our show through SML 200 contest, she's sticking with our show.
That's true.
Then again, $1,000 in games is a hell of a bribe to keep you listening to our show.
That's true. If I would have won, I was listening to the show before that, but if I would have won, I would have probably would have cried.
No balls. Fuck them. Send money or get the fuck out. Reminder to check out our PSVR GoFundMe.
That's a good plug.
Give us all your money. Give us all your money, or at least what you can afford. Don't hurt yourself financially, but give us all your money that you can. That is comfortable. All of it. Nikki Baby says, I would like to win 140 because I've enjoyed a bunch of Double Fine games of yesteryear. Yeah, I just said yesteryear. Like Costume Quest and even Psychonauts. And while it looks totally different, they haven't disappointed me yet. Also watched a little video and enjoyed the fist-pumping music. Even though I am not from Jersey, I'm sure I can handle it. Again, I will kiss ass as usual. Might as well, since you say it every time I enter. And say thanks for the chance. You guys rock.
Thanks. That's the first time I've been told that I rock.
Yeah.
I'll write down hers as Costume Quest too, because she also listed a game that I really liked. I bought that for the gamer score, and it wound up being really good. I
loved Costume. I really need to get back and finish Costume Quest 2.
I haven't played the first one, but I loved the second one, so I should get the first one.
I completed the first one. I thought the first one was backward. Maybe not.
Is it?
I don't know. Fuck, let me look it up.
now you gotta know.
Talk about something.
Yeah. No, Pulse, that's what I do too. I just play random games. Like, I broke my controller playing WWE 2K16 the other day, which was really annoying.
I thought you weren't going to talk about that on the show because your dad listens.
Fuck it.
Hey, CJ's dad, guess what?
It wasn't my controller. It was the charging, wire, because I got really mad, so I slammed my controller, but I hit it against the wire wrong, and now the wire kind of hangs out weirdly. But it works. The controller still works on the with the wire. But the online mode of WWE 2K16 is shit. I hope that the servers are better in 17.
I was wrong. The first Costume Quest is not compatible.
Fucking told you.
I'm horrible. I am horrible.
You are.
I am horrible. Anyway, next email is from Leonx Poe. Hopefully I said that right. Hey guys, first of all, thanks for the generosity. The reason I want a copy of 140 starts with the style the game has all the way to the soundtrack. It looks peaceful and relaxing, meditation in game form, I'd say. Something I really enjoy in between big explosions and shooting. Glad there's space for these types of games. Thanks again. Bye. With multiple E's. CJ's dad. CJ has a meth addiction.
Yes, that is true.
Oh, man. The next email is from Daniel N., who says, I love platforming games that challenge you with rhythmic awareness and that also have a great melancholic electronic soundtrack. It's like soothing and calming to my oral senses.
What's with these words?
Big words. Nice. Next email from Jordan Phipps. Hey, SML crew. I'm going to explain my desire for 140 through math, since you know it's got numbers in the title. Jordan 650 plus 140 minus any strategy seen in a Shiz Black stream. Divide up the levels and multiply my gamer score with a 1K. Good luck to all the entrants and thanks for the opportunity.
Shitty math that doesn't add up.
So let's see, 790 minus Shiz Black strategies, which is 0.
Well, actually, I'd say that is negative 10,000. I really don't think it adds up.
So 0. It's divide by 0.
Oh, that would make it 0.
Yeah. So he has 0 reasons. Final email is from Billy P. Hey guys, thought I'd try my chances with this one. I spent way too long trying to think of a joke related to the game's title, but was unable to. So I'll just say the game reminds me of something I've played, but I can't remember what. Though I do like the idea that you have to time your jumps and movement to the beat. I've heard it can be relatively short depending on skill, so if I'm fortunate enough to win a copy and I'm enjoying myself, I might have to intentionally suck to extend my time with the game. Thanks again for the chance. So, those are the 7 entries. And, do you have any thoughts right off the bat?
I'm disappointed that nobody mentioned Thomas Was Alone, because that's the one that I dropped on. Even though it doesn't play the same, it looks
Someone actually did mention it in another email, but they sent a second email saying they already won the game.
Fuck, I was gonna say which one said that.
Souza.
I
Ricardo
like Jake
Souza
the most.
Jake?
Yeah, the Impossible game, and he had plenty of, other stuff that he liked about the game that he wants to play it.
I think I'll have to back you up on that one. I enjoyed that one, and I enjoyed Jordan's, but I can agree with Jake if he's got your backing. So,
yep.
Jake Benlyer, I think you were nearly perfect with us so far. So,
damn.
Hey Joe, you're on my left ear, but CJ's in my right and left. Just an FYI for your mixing. Didn't notice until I put both ear pod. That's weird. I don't know. I'll have to check that out when I check the export later on.
Well,
Fun times. Fun times. Hopefully it doesn't get too fucked up. I might have to dick with settings. We'll see. Man.
You just had to spend 6 hours working on it. You'll be fine.
Indeed. So congrats to Jake on winning 140. We have one more giveaway to do. Stories of Betham. I have sung my praises for this game multiple times, and now it is time for one of 6 people to get a copy of this game. 6 entries, 1 code. My cat curled up on my desk, so let's pick a winner. First up is Ricardo Souza, who says, because I love retro RPG style games, looks very fun. Thanks for the chance.
Very short entry.
Short and sweet. Chris Roberto, who says, I'd love to win Stories of Betham on Xbox One because this kind of game is exactly the style of game I've loved for almost 3 decades. I've been out of work for 2 years and I can only buy games when I get gifted them. I don't want to miss out on this one for too long. Whatever happens, keep up the good work. Thanks, Chris.
I like that dude. He's old and he's played plenty of those games, so he's gonna know what he gets into.
True. Next up is Brandon Wicks, aka Boda Yet, who says the main reason I want Stories of Betham is because I'm hearing it's a lot like old school Zelda. I never really played Zelda growing up, and I feel like I really missed out on a great experience. Now that I only ever play Xbox, I don't see myself buying an older console and ever playing Zelda. I'd love to experience something like it. Thank you, Boda.
That's relatable.
Indeed. Because you're young. Goddamn kid. I should do a giveaway for my fans in chat. No Pulse, you're the only one in chat. What do you want?
Exactly. He just wants a free game.
I don't know what codes I have.
Give him Q-Bird if you still have that.
I could give you Inner Kung Fu Game on PS4.
Oh, he would love that.
I actually already gave him a copy of that.
Oh, wow.
I mean, technically, I could give him Emily Wants to Play.
You could, but he should, you should, maybe not and have him enter.
True.
Then you had to read him.
Anyway.
Oh, Pulse is mean.
Next entry is from Nikki Baby, who says, I would love to win Stories of Betham because it looks just so darn adorable, and it looks like a game I'll enjoy from screenshots I've seen. Also, the description has sold me. I enjoy puzzles and exploration and the classic look of it all. Smooch, smooch on your face cheeks, but not your butt cheeks. Have to switch it up every now and then. Haha, you guys rock. Thanks for the chance. I think she's hitting on me.
Smooch. That's fucking awesome.
Nikki, are you hitting on me? You know I'm married, right?
Nobody has to know.
Hey, yo, girl. Hey, yo, girl. How you doing? Next email's from Daniel N., who says, I'm a big fan of action RPG games that have tons of puzzles and exploration, especially puzzles that make you think so hard that your head might explode. And final email from Jordan Phipps once again, who says, hey, SML, I really wanted to give the generic answer of I want Betham because it reminds me of Zelda on NES. While that may be true, I really want the game because one girl on the box looks like Carmen Sandiego, an epic staple of my youth, and the other girl looks like Shantae, never a bad thing. Happy podcasting.
Shantae.
Oh, man. So... 6 people, 1 code.
This is so hard. I like 3 of the entries a lot.
What are the 3 that you like?
I really liked Chris's. I really like Boda's, and I really like Jordan's.
Well, I was thinking Nikki and Chris, so since Chris is on both of our lists, Chris Roberto, I believe you are the winner of Stories of Betham.
Oh, nice job, Chris.
So, winner, chicken dinner.
God damn it. I said that at the same time.
So, 3 games given out, and more to come in the future. We're always doing code. We have Emily Wants to Play coming up on a future episode. And I just announced it on our Twitter last night. We're going to have codes for King Oddball to give away as well.
That game looks fun.
So, yeah, 6 reviews, 3 giveaways. You broke a controller. The what?
The PlayStation 3 games that one dude gave you.
Indeed. But you got to listen to last episode for the details on that, because there's too much to talk about. So listen to episode 218 if you want info on the handful of PS3 games we have to give away, courtesy of Jesse DeRona. And as always, because I'm going to mention this for a few weeks, check out GoFundMe.com/PSVR for the number 4 SML. We are 60% to our goal, and we are hoping to make the PSVR a part of our show in the future, and we can't do it alone. So I am asking you for your money to make me rich so I can buy cocaine or something.
Yes. Oh no, you can just do virtual cocaine on the PSVR.
Indeed. If you're watching our stream, look at these kittens. They need a PSVR in their life.
There, you can finally teach them how to play by putting a little headset on them.
Indeed.
They have to play it.
How's this? If you guys help us fund a PSVR, I will take pictures of the cats wearing the PSVR headset and I will post them to our Twitter.
Oh, that sounds adorable.
These are only things that can happen with your support and your help. So GoFundMe.com/PSVR for SML. Toss a couple of bucks our way if you have it. I don't want to impose on anybody. I know times are tough. Money is always short for everyone. Do what you can. No Pulse is saying that your dad needs to kick in some money. So get your shit together, CJ.
I just told No Pulse off.
Your shit together.
I have $1.26 in the account.
There you go. That's $1.26 more towards.
Actually, it'd only be 25 because I can't. I have to have 1 cent in my bank account or it closes.
Nice, good times. But yeah, that is it for this section of the episode. Be sure to stick around after the little musical intermission for our chat with Compulsion Games, Sam Abbott of Compulsion Games. And yeah, we'll talk to you next week. CJ, do you have any final words to end this section of the show?
Fuck WWE 2K16 servers.
Welcome back, everyone. I am joined for an interview right now by Mr. Sam Abbott of Compulsion Games. Sam, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's a little toasty. I was enjoying the cooler weather for a bit, but now it's getting warm again, and I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, no, it's great. We just went outside. It's a beautiful day, and it'll be nice and cool in the evening, so we'll be able to sleep, which is good.
I like being able to like open my window at night and have a cool breeze come in.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of just sweating my balls off 24/7.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just disgusting, isn't it?
It sucks. I don't know what the hell I did before air conditioning.
Yeah. Oh god.
And I'm a heavy guy, so I sweat. I'm a sweater.
I'm disgusting. My girlfriend, unfortunately, I just feel so bad for her every night. But,
I'd feel bad for my wife, but yeah, she said I do, so fuck her. She knew what she was getting into.
Exactly.
She's got to deal with it. Hey, if she didn't quit after 8 years, I think she's locked down for a while.
Yeah, either that or she's made her peace with it. This is how I'm going to die.
It's like the meme online. This is my life now.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Good
Compulsion Games. Tell us, who is Sam Abbott and what is Compulsion Games?
So, Compulsion, we're a small studio. We're 20 people based in Montreal, in Quebec, Canada. Believe it or not, Quebec and Canada are, in fact, the same country. And we made... Basically, in the past, we made a game called Contrast, and we're currently working on a game called We Happy Few. And I'm the Chief Operating Officer, which means, generally speaking, I'm responsible for almost everything. Or at least that's what I like to tell myself as I cry quietly to sleep at night.
So you're like the head honcho there, huh?
Well, not quite. So we've got the CEO, Guillaume, who started the company, and so he kind of generally looks after general direction of the company, and loosely speaking, it's my job to make sure it all happens. So I do all of the business side, so all of the things that you don't often hear about in video games, like HR and finance and
all the interesting shit, huh?
Oh yeah, the stuff that I could talk for hours about with great enthusiasm.
Let's talk about spreadsheets. That's why you're here today.
Yeah, I mean, Excel is so good. Yeah, so I look after that side of things, and also the marketing PR, and I look after the a little bit of high-level production, because once you get to our stage, it's kind of really important that the way that you make your marketing and that sort of thing works really well with your game and your launch and how you're making updates and that sort of thing.
Which is always good. It's good to have things on track and on schedule.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been here now for 4 years, and of the people in the studio, there's Guillaume, and then there's our art director, Whitney, and then there's me, who have been here the longest. So, yep, that's us. Nice.
I do enjoy on the website that you guys keep track of how many unplayed Steam library games you have.
Yeah, I wanted to have that just slowly increment over time. But I don't know if we ever actually ended up doing that.
Did it start at 777 or has it gone up?
I think it started at 777. So obviously it's a complete lie, even if it was accurate.
Man, so your website is just outdated at this point.
I know. Don't even talk to me about our forums, which are a disgrace.
Oh man, who's the web guy? Let's get him on the case.
We don't have a web guy. I mean, we're so small. This website that we have right now, which I really love because I designed it. But it was really exciting to make it, but I realized fairly quickly that my ability to do so was pretty minimal, so we had to get outside help for that.
Yeah, I completely understand that. I don't know shit about websites. Like, I'm lucky that I know enough to like handle 1 or 2 WordPress updates a week for the show. Like, yeah. I couldn't even get us on iTunes because it needed something about like an RSS. I don't even know what the hell that is. So I had a friend set that up for me. He's just like, well, what's your user? I just gave him my username, my password. I'm like, here, make things happen.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what I do with our website people, except they then charge me a lot of money, which we usually don't have.
I was lucky that he didn't charge me because he wanted our show on iTunes. And I'm like, I don't know how to get it on iTunes. And he's just like, fuck it, I'll do it for you. So,
wow. It's good to have friends like that.
That's the story of how the SML podcast is on iTunes. Oh, just the dedication of one bored person who wants to get our show easier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how all great inventions have been made across, all
laziness.
Time.
That's
exactly
the building block of life is just laziness.
Oh, sure.
So, you talked about you have 2 games at Compulsion Games. Let's start with Contrast, because that is the first one that you released back in 2013, 14?
Yeah, it was 2013, yeah.
Tell us about Contrast.
So Contrast was pretty special game, I think, for us in many ways. Obviously, it was the first game for the company that we published under our own name, and we weren't. It was our game, it wasn't somebody else's game. And back then, it was things were quite different because there weren't a lot of games coming out. The indie revolution was in its infancy, and there were a lot of little pixel art games, and games like Fez, which are wonderful games, right? But there were very few independent teams making fully 3D games at the time. And we created a game with roughly 7 people that we're very, very proud of. So it was a game about a little girl and her imaginary friend running around a 1920s, 1940s dreamscape was what we called it, basically a world that didn't quite make sense. So you're wondering why this little girl was running around, why were there no people there? And by playing her imaginary friend, you had these abilities to run and jump, become shadows. So you could become a shadow, you could jump on shadows in the world. But it was really quite a powerful technology, even though it was a little bit unstable, at least around launch. It basically, unlike a lot of other games which allow you to do this and they force you to say, you become Shadow at this point in the game, then you continue for a while, and then you go back to your regular 2D platforming. We were fully 3D and fully dynamic in terms of the shadows that you created, so you could move the shadows around. Let's say you position a box between a light source and a wall, and it'll create a shadow on the wall. You can jump up, shift into shadows anywhere there is light, and you can jump on that box and you can reach, say, a higher platform. So it allowed us to do a bunch of really cool puzzles and at the same time tell a story that was really kind of unknown to games at the time. A story about a little girl and, trying to figure out how to get her family back together, which was fairly unusual, at least at the time, although things have changed a bit since.
And I love the art style of the game, too. It was such a beautiful game when it came out, and it still is, really. It's just a gorgeous artwork and just general feel to the game. Yeah,
well, we're very, very lucky. I mentioned her earlier, but we're very lucky to have Whitney Clayton on our team, who's our art director. She actually began with the studio, almost 6 years ago, I think, which blows her mind when she thinks about it. And she came up with pretty much all of the visual style for Contrast, and subsequently, obviously, came on to create the setting and atmosphere and the style for We Happy Few as well. But we were very lucky because she created really great concepts that were super interesting and super unique, and we had a team of artists who came in to help us on Contrast, who were just very, very good at realizing those concepts. Yeah.
And then you mentioned We Happy Few. That's the game that is out now on early access and game preview. What kind of difference was there in developing that compared to working on Contrast, especially in like the 3-4 years, how just indie games have seemed to explode lately?
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very different. I mean, the key difference, I think, between them is that when we started Contrast, we already had sort of core team members available. Oh, sorry, when we started We Happy Few. But when we started Contrast, it was really just Guillaume. And he found Whitney and found a few others and eventually brought on me, although I wouldn't say I was a core member at the time. And basically, when you start with a group that knows how to work together very, very well, it's much easier to rapidly create something and sort of hone in on an idea. So the difference between, say, the conception phases for Contrast's conception phase was potentially well over 2 years, potentially 3. When you consider that, Guillaume's first initial paper drawings for the shadow physics were done in Lyon, in France, before he returned to Canada, which was, 2008, I think.
Wow.
And so that took quite a long time for those early concepts to come on board. And I know that Guillaume collaborated with a bunch of different people at that time and took some ideas from some people, others from others, and worked on creating things. But We Happy Few was much faster. So it was probably 6 months from the initial early concepts and early game mechanic ideas until the point where we had a rough playable demo that really gave us the feel that we were looking for. And I think, if I remember correctly, we had that done by about the end of March 2014, and we probably began early discussions on concepts in, probably not much earlier than August 2013. So March 2014, August 2013. And that was really just the initial idea. I mean, really, I think Whitney created one concept or two concepts before Contrast launched, and that was the entire scope of the work on the game up until that point. So after that point, it was really easy to rapidly iterate because we knew who we were dealing with. We knew how everyone worked. We knew kind of how to focus on what we wanted, and really it was quite interesting to me because the game that we've created is very, very similar and pretty much the same as what we ended up with after that first period. There haven't been major changes in the game's development in terms of direction or anything like that. It's really been very similar, and I think that's because we spent a lot of time making questions, but once we figured out what we wanted, that was it. It was good.
Nice. So it's been kind of a smooth run for We Happy Few so far. Things are kind of progressing as planned for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, as far as
much as can be. I guess.
Much as can be. Yeah, I mean, so We Happy Few's been a really different experience because we decided to take a different approach this time around with regard to how we were communicating about the game with the community. And that's been really, really interesting because we tried to do what's called what we think of as an open development model. The idea of talking about the game as it goes along and showing the game and letting it be playable, which is very different certainly from Contrast, but very different from most games on the market. There are a few games that you look at, say, Prison Architect, which had an early access 3-4 years ago. I can't remember exactly how long ago. And it was playable from a really early state. And we thought that was really interesting, really intriguing. So we've done that with this game. We Happy Few, we took out to PAX East in 2015. And we got people to play the first little alpha. And we said, hey, what do you like? What do you don't like? Turns out people quite liked it. There were certain things they liked, other things they didn't. And we worked on them. And we told everyone what we were doing. We said, okay, Kickstarter people, if you managed to... Oh, sorry, not Kickstarter, we'll get there. PAX people... if you want to join us, then hey, here's a Steam key. Come and give us feedback on the prototypes we're creating. So we published a couple of those updates. We felt really good about it, and then we went out on Kickstarter because at this point we thought, okay, we can make a game right now. We can make let's say a game of 10 units high, which makes no sense whatsoever. But let's just say it's got 10 units high. And we think we can do that justice based on our funding and that sort of thing that we've got right now. However, when we went out to PAX East, we felt, you know what, there's a lot of potential here. There is more that I think than just that 10 units. So we went to Kickstarter to say, okay, we can do 10 units, but what if we wanted to do 20 or 30? How well would we do? And on Kickstarter, we ended up raising a little over $250,000, which was obviously really very, very encouraging to us. And people at the time asked us, well, hold on, you've already got money to make a game. Why are you doing a Kickstarter? And it was very hard at the time to explain the concept of, well, we want to see how well it does. We want to understand how interested are people in this game. Because one of the things that game developers have to assess is what's the size of the market, right? And that's not necessarily about saying, how much money can I fleece from people? I think that's the wrong way to think about it. It's more like saying, okay, if the market size is this big, what's the how big should the budget be to make this kind of game?
Yeah, you don't want to spend $4 million on a game that 20,000 people are going to buy.
Exactly. But if you can get up to, say, 200,000 people, maybe 4 million's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
And in fact, you get to this odd situation where if you've got a lot more people interested in the game, suddenly you have to start spending more because their expectations become extremely big. If you look at, say, the No Man's Sky situation that happened recently, now, I'm not going to talk about the various things that they did or did not say in marketing that game, but one thing that was very clear is that people's expectations were far higher and far greater for a bigger game, a different game. And I think if No Man's Sky people knew that before they announced the game, and they could demonstrate that in some way, it might have been that game got made, but maybe the way that they did it was just never a reality.
We've lovingly referred to the entire No Man's Sky situation as just a gigantic shit show.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard. Okay, so from personal perspective, maybe I'll skip ahead a little bit on We Happy People, because this is really pretty interesting. So we got through the Kickstarter. Turns out the game's really popular. So we refinanced. We went out and we got a lot more money, basically, and we said, okay, this is the game we think we can make now, and that's what we're making. And we went to E3 this year with Microsoft after basically they saw the game and just fell in love with it, and they've been hugely supportive and super cool. And they put us on the stage on E3 during their press conference. And what we showed at the E3 press conference was a shortened version of our introduction. And people lost their shit.
Yeah, I was one of the many who lost their shit watching that.
Yeah, and we knew that was a great video. We knew when you create something like that and you get all the music in, everything kind of fits together and you see the final product, you know whether something's good or not.
Yeah.
And we knew that it was good. But what we struggled with immediately afterwards, and this is a question that I've asked myself a lot, thought about a lot. What we struggled with afterwards was that people took that introduction, which is exactly the introduction to the game, right? And they extrapolated based on that, and ignored literally everything else we've ever said about the game. And I don't blame them. So don't think of this as me as coming off of like sour grapes or anything like this.
Well, it's their fault. It really is. Fuck them. Well, they did this.
No. I think, I mean, I can say all sorts of terrible things about terrible people, but my God, the day I say something bad about our players, I think will be the day I should quit. But, no, so we released this game on early access, and the thing is, we've been talking about it, as I said, since PAX East 2015. The game hasn't changed; it's the same game. And when people ask us, we say, "Yep, it's the same game." And when they come to E3 and they play the demo and they see that introduction and then the rest of the game, they enjoy it. But the problem was, you've got a lot of people who don't read, and so that's a really interesting struggle and a really interesting question, because whenever I talk about this, inevitably people will ask, well, why did you show that at E3? Why did you show that piece? And the answer is because, well, A, it was the only piece that was finished up to the level of the polish that the final game is going to demand. So it was really what we had to do. But two, it was the best piece. So you always have to put your best foot forward, even if perhaps there is some ambiguity in how that should be received. I mean, it's really a challenge. You look at, say, Fallout, right? You imagine that you release and you show on stage this, the first few minutes, and people get excited about it and they extrapolate, create another game, and then you've got the rest of Fallout, and they're like, I didn't want this. I don't know. It's an interesting question that I don't know that we've necessarily solved. And the only solution that really we have to it is to just keep saying, hey, this is the game. This is what it's going to be. Don't worry. I mean, oh, sorry. Yeah, I should mention this. The reason why I fundamentally don't have a problem with the E3 thing is that that's a part of the game that's not in yet. The story, ultimately, the story of our player characters and what they go through in the world and the cutscenes and all the things you expect normally from a first-person, cinematic game, really.
Yeah.
That's all coming. It's just not there yet. And so we had a lot of people very angry and upset about that. And we said, well, hold on, it's not there. It's all written.
People pissed off, like, where's the narrative? What's the point of this? It's like, it's still in game preview. It's still early access. You realize the game is not done yet. Like,
that's true.
There's so many people who think early access or game preview is just a demo, an early demo of the game. It's like, no, they're actively working on the game. That's what the entire program is about. It's to get the game out there, get attention for the game, get eyes on the game, get feedback on the game. That's why how many early access games have websites and email addresses in there. Like, if you find bugs or if you have feedback, tell us. Don't just bitch on Reddit. Like, inform us. We want to make this a better game.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, look, the thing about early access is that there have been a lot of people who have been burned by early access, but it's become, and that's understandable, and you can accept some skepticism there for sure. But you've got a huge variety of games in early access, right? So you've got games like sorry, I'm just going to throw a piece of paper at hey Mike. Hey Mike. Shh. Anyway,
just turn around and just yell, "Shut the fuck up!"
I'd throw things at him, but no, he's got big monitors in the way. I can't reach him.
Throw a monitor at him.
Yes, an entire monitor. We have so many of them to go around.
Just Skype that. Just like turn on the camera and make sure that we could record that.
Yeah, it's like Office Space, but updated for the 2016 version. Yeah, anyway, so early access. So you've got a lot of people on the internet who get really angry about early access. And, there are a number of games that people released on early access that didn't sell as well as I think the creators wanted them to do. And as a result, people don't spend or get invested in the games, and they abandon them. And that's shitty. That's shitty for everybody. It's shitty for gamers. It's shitty for people that want to treat early access properly. Like us. And unfortunately, the examples of early access games done well are few and far between. But again, I mentioned it earlier, Prison Architect is a great example of a game that was continually updated. Minecraft, Dwarf Fortress, it's not really the same thing, but you know what I mean. Yeah. You've got very modern games like Rust. And Rust is fantastic. They've posted about their development for every week for the past 3 years, I think. And it's been hugely eye-opening and interesting to see how another team works. Excuse me. Sorry about that. God, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, I need a big warning sign that says shut the fuck up. But that's okay.
Just get bricks. Start just chucking bricks at people.
Exactly.
Go in the parking lot, grab some stones.
Yeah, we actually have an entire construction site outside, so I could probably get like a little motorized tractor or digger or something.
Oh,
destroy
even
part
better.
of the office.
Even better.
It would not affect development at all. So early access, like, there are some really great examples as well as negative examples, and I think the teams that do it really, really well are the teams that focus on telling people what they're doing and keeping up the good communication. And I think that's the case for Kickstarter games as well. I think teams that don't place enough emphasis on communicating with people, their players, the people that give a shit about their game, like that matters to me. The people that play our game and give us feedback are hugely important. Even the ones that are yelling at us and saying we've wasted their time and they hate me and may we rot in hell. Just so charming to receive on a Monday morning, but
better than good on a Friday afternoon, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean,
well, this ruined my weekend. Oh wait, no, it's the weekend. Fine. I don't care.
Depends if it's 5 o'clock. Hopefully, you're already drunk. But no, that feedback is super cool, and the teams that really focus on that and understand why people are giving them the feedback that they do, they often lead to making better games, which is what we're hoping. And that's why ultimately we're on early access. So hopefully we'll be one of those teams that encourages a bit of faith in early access, because I think there are a large number of them. And I think the immediate hatred of early access as a concept just doesn't make sense. It's a tool. And I think it's a really cool tool. You get to see how games are made, and I just think it's great. And I'm still going to be a games fanboy probably as long as I live. And I think for those people that really love to see behind the scenes, it's perfect.
So on a controversial early access subject, what are your thoughts on the Ark news?
Yeah, I heard about that a few days before it happened through secret developer networks. And it's just like, oh shit, you guys are going to cause an absolute clusterfuck. Oh my god, the internet is going to lose their shit. Personally, I think it sends the wrong message. I can only speculate as to why they've gone ahead and done this. And I've actually met some of the development team. I think one of their chief creative guys, a guy called Jesse and his wife. Very nice. I met them a couple of years ago. But to me, it sends the wrong message. I think when it comes to early access, it should be about getting that feedback and that open, honest engagement. Valve has guidelines about early access, and that's what they promote, really, is that continual feedback and that sort of thing. Ultimately, DLC and early access, it feels contradictory. It feels contradictory in the sense that DLCs, I still think, I'm of the old school where I think expansions and that sort of thing are kind of after the main game.
Yeah.
It's something for you to get involved with if you like the main game. But I'm running into a bit of difficulty with early access because a lot of people actually really like the Ark DLC. So personally, I don't feel like it makes a lot of sense, but obviously I don't think I'm in the majority there. So how do we deal with that? I don't know.
It's such a weird thing that a game that's technically not finished has paid content coming. I can't agree with them doing that. I think it's kind of a shitty thing to do to the people who've been spending hours upon hours with this game and contributing feedback and giving their thoughts on things and backing it financially by taking the risk early on in the game to be like, hey, the game you paid for isn't done yet. And in many cases, it doesn't run that well, but here's more content that you could give us money for.
Yeah. And I mean, I think you raised a really good point. That idea of people who've spent money on something in early access is because of their faith in people, often. And I think you kind of have to treat your early access players and anybody who invests in you before the game is done really as investors. Not in a, I report to these people so much as these people are important and their feedback is important and you've got to try and deliver what they're hoping. So I don't know. I think it's just really interesting. And so for Ark to go, the guys behind Ark to go and make this paid DLC, I'm more interested in the fact that I don't think they could have done this without support. So yeah, maybe that's the question people should be asking.
Like, who's supporting this idea?
Yeah, I mean, do you think Ark can go ahead and do this without the platform's approval? I don't know.
It's weird because I believe it released on Steam and Xbox, didn't it? I'm
not sure. I know it released on Steam. I didn't see it on Xbox, but to be honest, I haven't in the last few days.
I haven't paid attention either. I'm too tired. It's been a crazy weekend. I can't. My brain doesn't work anymore.
Fair enough.
So let's get back to We Happy Few. We've been chatting about it a bit, but for the people who don't know what We Happy Few is, give us the sales pitch. I normally try to get to this earlier, but we've kind of been just rolling along in conversation, so I'll just steer back there. Give us the sales pitch. What is We Happy Few?
Okay, so We Happy Few is a game set in 1960s dystopian England. And it's a game really about learning to survive in and escape from a world obsessed with happiness. So think back to games or books or stories or anything like that, set in a dystopian world, a game like 1984, where you're in this world and you know something's not right. And in our world, it's that everybody's just obsessively happy. They walk around and they've painted the roads, and they have big white masks on their face that force them into a smile. And they take a drug called joy that they've developed. Joy makes you super, super happy. It makes you, smiley all the time. You don't really worry about what's going on. You can't really remember where your house is or anything like that. And you're just pretty happy all the time going about doing your job. But it's that kind of thing about obsession, when you're confronted with reality, things often turn ugly really, really quickly. So the premise of the story of the game is that your character, Arthur, has discovered something. He's got a nice cushy job in the government district. He's basically just doing his thing, wearing his mask, taking his joy, and he comes across something that he doesn't like, and he realizes, I don't want to forget this. I want to remember it. So he decides to stop taking his joy. He stops taking his joy, and then almost immediately the people around him realize he's not on his joy, consider him a threat to society, a downer, and they chase him out of town. So your job is to try and figure out how to blend in with these people and the other various parts of town, like the garden district where all of the people who joy didn't work for, they live there. And basically you have to figure out how to blend in, how to survive, and ultimately help some people, injure others on your way to escaping the city. So yeah, it's definitely got survival game elements. So you have your health, obviously, you have a thirst, hunger, and sleep meter. Although all three of those we've actually dialed down pretty significantly based on feedback in early access, which is really interesting to me. And then you have ways of dealing with conflict. So you have to run around and loot things and craft. That's fine. But obviously, they're not just lying around generally. You need to go through people in some way to do it. So that might be through stealth, so hiding and sneaking and figuring stuff out. It might be through what we call social blending, which, as I mentioned, is that kind of blending in with people. The idea is basically, if you look like one of them, if you look like you're supposed to belong and you're doing the right things, you can probably get away with things that you wouldn't if you stood out. And then finally, the last one is combat. So, in the case that they do spot what you're doing or they realize you're not one of them, you can pull out your trusty cricket bat or frying pan and, give them a good old whack, basically.
The combat was very satisfying in the game. There was a nice heavy crunch when you would hit people. Yeah, there's some good weapons. They're pretty good. We're trying to tune the rest of them so they all feel really, really good, but some of them feel excellent. I know you mentioned the beginning of the game where you decide to stop taking your meds, which, of course, this is what was shown off at E3 that got everyone talking. I think everybody on the planet got excited about the game at that piñata scene.
Yeah, it's funny because when that concept came up, it came up actually from our writer talking over things with his wife, and his wife was writing a story basically for a children's TV program about a piñata. And they thought, how could we make this much more disgusting and horrifying? and when I read it, because I read the script, this is very early on that we had this. And I read the script and I was just like, Alex, you are a sick, sick man, but that is awesome.
You sick son of a bitch.
And we weren't sure if it was going to come across well, but then when we got the cinematics in and all of the effects and everything, and we looked at it and we're just like, that is disgusting. And then the animators put all their nice little touches and things. So at one point she licks her lips. It's just you see all of these little personalized, crafted bits where every person on the team who was involved with it puts in these little touches, and it came out really, really well.
Yeah, I know that was one of the things that really got my attention on. Like, it was shown off in trailer form the previous E3, wasn't it?
Yeah, it actually at a Gamescom, we did a Gamescom trailer, which was more about the setting and the basic NPCs and that sort of thing. But this was the first time that we ever showed, E3 this year was the first time we ever showed narrative. So it was the first time we ever showed what we were thinking about how the game and the world would work. And honestly, I'm still really excited about the narrative and how it's going to turn out. but we do have a lot of it to build still.
Yeah. What kind of timeline are you guys looking at for the final game to release?
So we said basically it would be between 6 to 12 months after the early access release. And so far that's looking pretty accurate. Yeah, although it kind of remains to be seen because we do have a few fairly major features that we need to implement. And then once those are in, we'll be able to see are we going to make our timelines or not. But it does feel pretty solid. So I'd say from now, maybe between 5 and 11 months.
Not bad.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a 2017 game.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
So no early Christmas present for people with rat piñatas.
No, unless I manage to actually do some work on consumer product licensing.
Oh my god. Can you imagine a collector's edition of the game coming with a rat piñata?
That would be just disgusting and awesome. So, yeah.
Oh man, get the design people on that. See how they can make it happen.
I'll talk to them about it. Yeah, it's a good idea.
There's intestine candy inside.
Yeah, feel it would be something else. I feel like people would never do it because they're like, you can only do it once.
How old is this candy?
Yeah, exactly.
Just collectors in like 30 years being like, we found an unopened copy of We Happy Few Collector's Edition. Let's see if the candy's still inside.
Can you imagine? It would be a giant amorphous singular candy that's one candy basically fought the others in a battle royale, and now it's just huge and massive. Disgusting.
It's like a Katamari candy. Just rolled all the others up.
Oh.
It's like people today opening like packs of baseball cards from the 70s and eating the gum.
Oh no.
That just chalky stick of whatever the fuck it is.
That's not something I would do.
So, in We Happy Few, what was the design? Again, I can't talk. Long weekend. The design decision with the white masks, because that was one of the first things that caught my eye with the earliest trailers, was just how creepy and freaky these characters looked with these white masks on.
So we the masks were a very early attempt at scope limitation, which probably isn't what you're expecting to hear. We thought, hey, this will be cool. What are the strengths and weaknesses of the studio? Okay, we don't want to do too much animation. This was actually before our entire animation team joined the team. But basically, we thought if characters wear masks on their faces, we won't have to do a lot of facial animation. And so, in most situations where you have this kind of constraint, what you do if you're doing it properly is think, okay, so how do we build it into the world in a way that it makes sense? So the lore justification is that these people, they want to be happy all of the time, super, super happy. And it's much easier to be happy if everybody else around you is happy. But, sometimes you're not all that happy, so what if you wear a mask that makes you look happy all the time? And we even had this idea that, it forces your face into a smile, and when it does that, you feel like you're smiling a little bit, so you feel a bit better. And in the end, it became a kind of core part of the game, very much part of its visual identity. And then when we got first few playtesters coming into play, they're like, hey, these guys are talking, but their mouths aren't moving. This is clearly a bug. And so we were like, oh, shit. Now we've got masks for... Yep, we're going to have to animate them. So now they are animated. So it's one of those situations where we thought we were being very clever, but ended up being artistic instead, I think.
Hey, it works. It's such a cool look to the game. I think that alone is getting a lot of attention. Just how creepy it feels.
Yeah, it's... if you want creepy, what you should do is look up the City of Smiles on Google. Just going to double check.
Oh God, am I going to have nightmares about this?
A little bit, and then if you look up in images, oh no, something new's happened. Anyway, so back at the turn of the century in like Budapest or something like that, there was a terrible outbreak. Oh yeah, the creepy story of Budapest became a city of smiles in the 1930s. I'm actually going to link this in chat here so that you can get suitably creeped out. But basically, they had to put masks over their faces to stop plague transmission and that sort of. Oh no, it wasn't plague. It was suicide. So they tried to make everybody happy, and they wore these little masks with everyone painted with smiles.
Oh,
and we had no idea.
God.
But holy shit, is it creepy? You just look back at this and think, oh man, early 20th century, you were a fucked up place.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, super great.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Now,
I'll be looking at this
but
shit all night. This is gonna be fun.
That's good stuff, isn't it?
I like
Certainly
scarring
will give you
myself
good,
for life.
Yeah, positive dreams.
Is it
No
Bacalad,
nightmares.
the city of smiles?
I thought that was, but that's actually something different, I think. Which didn't exist 2 years ago, by the way, when we researched this.
Interesting.
Maybe Google just caught up.
Maybe.
Yeah, so that was the masks.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Those are creepy looking masks. In like the 1930s?
Mm-hmm.
Budapest.
Yep, right around that
how
time.
Budapest became a city of smiles on IO9.
Yep, and this is what happens when you start making video games. You come up with a bunch of weird shit. And then you realize that everything's been done before.
Life is more fucked up than a video game can ever be.
For sure.
So you mentioned the game was on Kickstarter. I've been browsing the Kickstarter. This is just another one of those occasions where I wish I knew about the Kickstarter way beforehand, because some of these rewards are pretty goddamn cool, and I feel bad for missing out on it.
Well, yeah, we spent a lot of time trying to come up with rewards that were super awesome. It's interesting with Kickstarter. There are a selection of video game Kickstarters that do really well, and they get publicized very well. The secret to all of those campaigns is actually a publicity before the campaign kicks off. And so I think we did okay, but certainly there was a huge number of people that had never heard of our Kickstarter. So the idea that you can put your game on Kickstarter and make millions of dollars is not as what's the word? Not as frequent. I think it doesn't happen as frequently as it did.
I like the collector's box. See, you guys already have a collector's edition, and I'm saying all this stuff.
We do. Quietly hiding away in the back of my mind.
It does not have the
that's
pinata.
where it exists.
No,
it doesn't. But we have some ideas about what we could do there, and ultimately we're very grateful to our Kickstarter backers. So if we can find a way to do something cool for them, then we will. But sadly, even though the game's doing quite well in early access, we're not multi-millionaires yet. So still have to be a little bit safe about things.
But you released the game. Aren't all game developers instantly millionaires once you put a game out?
Yeah, and we're all probably just trying to do it because we want to make money and, fleece people. We're basically modern-day snake oil salesmen.
That's why you're announcing your first DLC for We Happy Few.
That's right. We're going to do monthly DLC.
Starting now.
Each one, $3.22. I don't know. It's going to be good.
Oh man! So you mentioned that it's selling well. How's the reception been since the early access and the game preview versions have been out?
So it's been really fascinating. For the people that understood what the game was, it's been great. The reception has been really good. But there were a large number of people who just didn't read any of the descriptions, and so they bought the game and they're like, I don't understand what the fuck this is. And that leads to negative reviews, believe it or not.
No, internet users don't leave unjust negative reviews.
Shocking, isn't it? There are some ones that I'm at least fairly certain that there are a number of reviews where people have just bought the game, immediately played or left it on in the background for 30 minutes, and then refunded the game immediately and ranted about early access. And this is their way of protesting early access. And yeah, it's broken. there are a number of other issues with it and that sort of thing. But ultimately, the only response from us that makes any sense at all is to treat all reviews as constructive criticism. Even if someone's being an asshole, they've probably got an interesting point.
If not, you can print it out and make fun of them.
Well, you can. I mean, I feel like that's probably a bit more time to spend on them than you want to do, but, as I said, if somebody's really, really fucked off about something, chances are you can probably look at that and make the game better for everyone else as a result.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the reviews have been actually pretty good, and we're pretty excited to see how the community responds to updates. Because we try and update the game monthly with new content and new stuff in there, basically to test it. But yeah, should be good.
I know you mentioned one of the updates that you've made has been easing up on the severity of the survival elements. Is that a reaction to the number of people who didn't realize that this is a survival game?
Yes, although I'd say it's also a matter of understanding the difference between people that play the game a lot and people that have just started playing. So people keep complaining about the food and the sleep and the drink and that sort of thing. We don't personally have any problems playing the game with that, with the previous levels of it. But that's because we know the game.
Yeah.
And so our Kickstarter players, they felt the same as us because they've been playing the game long enough and they understand how to make basically the game work. They understand where everything is. They understand how to play the game, and it's really, really good. Sorry, I got a bit interrupted there, but basically, when people just start playing and it's early access and they don't really understand, and you also get a lot of people who are attracted to the game because, as you say, the white masks, and they're expecting this kind of Bioshockian dystopia. And then they find there's survival aspects which are fairly punishing. Well, we decided it's just not worth it. So what we're going to do instead is we dropped and rebalanced the base survival mechanics quite a lot, but we'll have probably a higher difficulty mode. Some way, shape, or form. We haven't finalized the design there yet. That will allow you to play through with the more hardcore survival settings. Likewise, we might have one that's very low survival for the people that just aren't interested in it. And hopefully people will still enjoy the game enough without those elements.
Yeah, I know a lot of my friends. They were interested in the game, but they didn't really keep up with what exactly it was, and they just had this mindset that it was completely narrative driven, kind of like, as you mentioned, BioShock, where it's just like walk down a corridor, have this story, have some fights, have battles, and move on with the story. And instead, it's just this open world game where you can basically do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. I mean, it's obviously limited, as most games are limited in some way. But yeah, I mean, part of what we have changed about the game, I said the core aspects of the game haven't really changed since the very beginning, and that's true. But what we have done is tried to understand people who want different things from our games. And that's really interesting because no two people are the same, right? So they play games in different ways, and you need to try and account for things differently. So in this case, for us, one of the things we changed was permadeath mode. So we made that optional, something that people could do if they wanted to have the super extreme experience. And I mean, me personally, I love permadeath. I think it makes the game and any game just far, far, far more tense because you're no longer thinking that your decisions are irrelevant.
Yeah. You're
sitting there and you're saying, okay, what I'm doing, it matters, if only for my own, sanity and sense of time investment. But if you don't have that, then it's almost meaningless, I think, in some ways. So that's why I like it. But others, they don't want that. They just want to run through, have the story, have a bit of challenge along the way, but not too much. And that's perfectly fine. So our challenge is to make sure that we accommodate all those interests as well as we possibly can.
So if people enjoy the hardcore experience, kind of like my co-host in Diablo. Like, he only plays, the majority of his characters are hardcore, where when he dies, it's done. And like, the console versions have achievements where you have to beat the game on hardcore mode, and that was just a struggle for me because I was overly cautious, overly protective. I got to like level, I think 45 the one time, and my guy died, and I just had that feeling of like, I'm never going to try this again. I mean, eventually of course I beat it. I did what I had to do. And I actually did better when I was a little bit more reckless, because it's instead of just playing defense, I went more on offense, and I was just more careful about what I did, but I was less of a chicken about it.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's really, really interesting.
But yeah, normally I'm the guy who, you get a new RPG and it's like, what difficulty do you want to play it on? And I'll just throw it on easy so I could just enjoy the story and get on with it. Because I'll be honest, I'm mid-30s. I don't have the time or the patience to grind for 40 hours to beat a boss. I want to enjoy the game. I'm not a teenager anymore. I can't just skip homework and play an RPG all night.
No, for sure. And look, games are changing in that direction. And that's one of the reasons, is that as the people that make games get older, we realize we don't have a lot of time to play them. I mean, I'm playing The Witcher 3 right now, and I've been playing it since December.
I think everybody's been playing it since it released.
It's such a wonderful game, but at the same time, man, it's just so big.
It never ends.
Yeah, and yet you've still got people in the gaming public who'll be like, if your game isn't as big as Witcher 3, it's not a game at all. And so those are the challenges that we have to sort of address, is make the game big enough, but not so big, I think. Bloody difficult.
I guess that kind of takes care of one of my questions. I was going to say, what games are you playing right now? But, Witcher 3, everyone's playing.
Yeah, Witcher 3 is one of them. From time to time, I also dabble in, believe it or not, Day of Defeat Source, which is a game I've played for like 10 years.
Wow.
Still enjoy the shit out of it. And I play Dota 2 because I hate my life, and why not make it worse? Yeah. Honestly,
I'm shocked that I didn't hear Dark Souls.
Oh yeah, no, not yet. That feels like that feels like a guy who's looking at a line of cocaine and he's sitting there going, I know it's not going to be a big deal right now, but what if I enjoy it? That's yeah.
You are definitely the outlier when it comes to developers in Dark Souls.
Yeah. Particularly programmers seem to love it. They just love it.
So, what are you looking forward to this fall? What games are on your radar coming out?
Well, the game I was actually most looking forward to was Deus Ex, and I haven't actually had time to start that yet.
All right, high five. I haven't started it either.
Yeah, so looking forward to going back and playing that, because I played Human Revolution quite late. It was only a year or so ago that I played it, and I just thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. So there's that. Super long term, I'm fascinated, horrified, and confused by Star Citizen. I will just love to see what happens there. I almost care less about the game and more about the spectacle,
Oh, God. I've heard so much about it, but I've tried to kind of not get too involved with it, because I think it's just one of those things where if I get involved in the whole controversy going on, because I've seen people like dedicate hours of their life to detailing the controversies with this game. I just feel like I would get sucked in and never get out.
Yeah, it feels like a cult. In a weird way, you've got people who hate it. The people that got interested in it and then got burned, and then now they're trying to take it down from the outside. And there's the people that defend it to their last, the others who spend shit tons of money on it. It's like a giant video game cult.
Like the abused housewife. It's like, I keep spending money, but I can't stop.
Exactly. So I think that's fascinating. I'd love to see what's going on there. And otherwise, I'm in this odd sort of position where I've got a lot of games in my backlog, a lot of games that I've been interested in and I want to play, but there's something I haven't been really interested in, really taken by a game since I started playing Dota. I think Dota has killed me as a person because the game is so good. It occupies all of my waking hours. I hate myself.
It's okay. You'll get over it one day.
It's just so good, man. It's just so good. Anyway, so we'll see. I'm actually hoping something comes along. I mean, something along the lines of like Mass Effect would be super cool for me. But
I keep telling people that once the end of September comes around, I'm going to quit the show and just spend a month playing Forza Horizon 3.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Although I don't think I'm allowed to quit the show. Our show just started a GoFundMe to try and raise money for to get a PSVR for the show because we're clearly not big enough to like get one through Sony.
Yeah.
But people want the coverage, so I'm going to try making it happen. And if I quit the show, people might get pissed about that. So.
They might. But plus if you quit the show, who are you going to talk to about Forza Horizon 3? I mean,
true.
It's just difficult decisions all around. Yeah.
Ah, man, so much stuff. So what is next with Compulsion Games? Clearly, you're going to be working on We Happy Few, getting that finished and done within the next year. Are you guys working on prototypes for any new games? Are you guys thinking of continuing the Contrast series?
No, I mean, really, it's just We Happy Few. I mean, the thing is that once the character stories come in, it's going to change the game entirely.
You're planning what? Three different character stories?
That's right. Yeah. So we've got 3 character stories, and they will be. I think they will be really fun. Sometimes horrifying, but mostly just hopefully good storytelling. So playing through those and making sure those are a great experience are the most important things for us right now. Once we get close to being done with those, I expect at that point we'll start thinking about, okay, what's next in terms of early conception and that sort of thing. But it's a lot of work to start working on a different game when you're still working on one.
Yeah.
So we'd rather focus on making sure that we give back to our Kickstarter players and early access players and make sure that we make the game great before pissing off and doing some paid DLC or something like that.
Now, the stretch goals that you have on the Kickstarter, are those going to be in the base game, or are those going to be worked on after the game is released?
They'll be part of the base game, although whether or not some of those modes get in for the 1.0 launch date, I actually don't know yet. Things like Welly mode, it's got a core design, but at the same time, it's something that we need to go back to and understand exactly how this is going to work. And so that particular part, the Welly mode, I'm not sure yet. Everything else should be there, though.
Yeah, because I know the list on the Kickstarter says that you didn't make Welly mode. Did you guys make it after the Kickstarter, but like post-Kickstarter donations, stuff like that? Or are you guys just, fuck it, we're going to do it anyway?
Yeah, well, we were pretty excited about it, and it was part of the reason why people were excited about the stretch goals in the beginning anyway. So yeah, we're going to do it. Although exactly how it's going to work, we don't know yet.
So are you confirming the authentic English weather will be in the game?
Yeah, we've actually been working on that right now. We just need to get in the rain and the fog and the, depression. We're still working on all those.
I saw that on the list. I'm like, this is magical. Why don't more games do this? They just everything's shitty and gray and sad.
Yeah, well, that was all right. The world was green for green, gray, gross for 6 months. Everything changes. Yeah, so it should be good. Should be a pretty exciting year ahead.
I'm excited for it, man. Like I said, I've been keeping my eye on this game for quite a while, and I'm thrilled that it's out in early access and on Game Preview. We covered it on our show, and I said that it's a really, really cool game, really cool atmosphere, and I'm dying to see what else gets added to this game over the coming months and coming year. And even after that, if you guys keep working on extra content for it, I'm just excited to learn more about this universe and about these characters and these creepy sons of bitches in these goofy ass masks that are going to haunt my nightmares.
Yeah, nice. I'm glad. It should be an exciting time.
It is. I know we've been chatting for about an hour now, so I don't want to take up too much of your day. I want to thank you for coming on and chatting with us. This was an honor for me to have you guys on. I've been so excited about this game, and I'm thrilled that you came to talk to us.
Hey, well, thanks for having me here. It's been cool to talk.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about or that you want to mention before we wrap things up?
No, just thanks to the people that have believed in us so far. That's super cool. People that bought in at Kickstarter and early access, we really appreciate it. Want you guys to know that.
So the game is out now on Steam Early Access, Xbox One Game Preview. What is the price right now?
It's $29.99 US.
And do you guys see yourselves raising the price at all before release comes out, or is $29.99 going to be like the price?
No, it will raise over time. At this point, I mean, we feel like people are playing for 20 hours right now, so it's a pretty fair price if you look at what's to come as well. However, when we've got the narrative stuff coming in, we think it's worth a bit more than that. So
get your orders in now.
Yeah.
So that you can prepare. So you can prepare for the paid DLC coming out.
God. 3 weeks. We'll release paid DLC. It'll be great.
Indeed. Masks. Yeah. DLC masks.
Yeah. We happy few dinosaurs. That'd be awesome.
You could just get like different character masks, like have like Super Meat Boy masks people wear.
Well,
just a bunch of cross promotions.
They would buy it too.
I would buy the fuck out of that. I would pay $2 for each different mask. I would, pay an extra $2 and everybody has guacamole masks.
Nice. Oh, well, I know those guys, so hey.
There you go. Get that shit in the game.
Yeah.
Konami code. Just up, down, down, left, right. Everybody has guacamole masks.
We will look into it.
SML, the home of horrible suggestions. So again, thank you for coming on. Thank you for chatting with us. Do you have any final words to end this episode?
We're good.
That sounds amazing.